Learned anything about like dealing with the personality of a person who's committed a crime?
Well, most of the people, I have to say, after a short time, some of them I knew already. Some of them I've gotten to know because time after time they're in and out of the system, or they're in the system for a long time, and they keep coming back for trials or court appearances or whatever. So I'm on a first-name basis with many of them. The worst offenders are the easiest ones to deal with. The most violent, because if they've been in jail before, they know the routine. They're polite to me. I tell them, I ask them if they've been in jail before. They tell me if they have, then I tell them, I say, be polite to the officers, whoever you're dealing with, and they'll be polite back to you.
Right.
The people who are first timers or the younger ones sort of had an attitude, and they're the ones I might tend to worry about more.
Do they ever get violent or any? Do you ever have to deal with that? You always usually have a police officer anyway, right?
We go one-on-one most of the time. Sometimes if I have a warning that somebody's might be dangerous, then then I'll bring an extra officer.
But we don't have that issue normally here.
We have it.
We do?
We have the same stuff here as everywhere else. Right.
What have you learned about the personality of people who offend?
I think,
or in general.
I think I would tell everybody that we have the same issues here that any big city has. It might not be as much, and or they might not be aware of it because we're kind of a seasonal, wealthy town sometimes. But I would say, I always tell people, watch your surroundings, lock your door, lock your car. Don't take anything for granted anymore.
Really? Lock your car?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the heroin thing that's going on?
Because there's a big transit population, not necessarily that exclusively, but there's a drug problem, there's an alcohol problem, it relates to other crimes, theft, and people are looking for any way to get into to get something to support their habit. Yeah.
And you've seen an increase lately? What's the pattern? What's going on?
Every year, at least the amount of people I have custodies, my transportation has increased every year, and this is my 6th year on the job. Calendar year 2015, we had 228 prisoner transfers. Now, that's not 228 separate trips. It might be 3 or 4. A few times there were 3 or 4 on the same day, and that includes bringing them both ways. Going over, bringing them to court, and bringing them back. Many times it was only one, and I'm bringing them one way. But it totaled 228 trips. So you think of that, and that's...
What was it like when you first started?
Well, that was 20% more than the year before, than 2014.
Is that because there's more offending, or is it because the police are getting better at what they do?
I think it's both. I think it's both.
And what about the drug situation? I think we're trying to get our hands around understanding the addiction of someone.
My understanding is, like alcohol, it's easy to get. It's inexpensive, relatively inexpensive, and so people are looking for an outlet. They might want to have a drink, or they might want to have a high, and it probably started with prescription drugs out of the medicine cabinet.
It really did, huh? You're seeing...
Yep. It's as simple as, say you put your house on the market and you have an open house. Now, that doesn't happen so much around here, but it's happened a few times. People come wandering through your house, can I use the bathroom? They go into the medicine cabinet, and there's stuff. So they don't take the medicine bottle, but they'll take a few pills out of the bottle. It's something that people don't even think about.
That's amazing. I'm just going to pull in here for a second.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
More. So you like your job then, huh?
Yeah, I
love it. You've loved doing it.
I love going to work every day. I want to run again, and hopefully
you're going to run again. You're going to run when, in November?
It's this year. Yeah. Primary in September, and the election in November.
Okay.
Same as the presidential race.
Do you work very closely with the police department?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, do you talk to the chief often? Is that something you have to do?
No, I don't talk to him. I talk to...
Who's your boss?
My boss are the voters. My
That's
answer
it.
to the state. I mean, I'm not like a town, like the police here, they answer to the selectmen. But I'm a state employee, not a town employee.
I see.
You know, my boss is the state ethics commission.
That's it.
Yeah,
You have that
or
much,
or the voters.
so you have that much freedom to do pretty
Yep,
much whatever.
yep, yep.
Wow, that's a great job, then,
Yeah.
Jim.
Well,
Isn't it?
well, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, and you're going to have some competition in the fall too.
I understand. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do we know you're doing a good job?
Well, I think just in the last 6 years, I've proven myself. You know, I try and be out there in the community and not make any waves.
Right.
You know, and I think the whole thing in elected office is a lot is about personality.
For this position, it is. Would you say?
Well, I think,
Or even the other ones too,
no,
huh?
I think the other ones too. You know, I just
Just look at Donald Trump. Look at that personality. Huh?
well, that's a whole.
We don't want to go there, do we?
No, I don't. I have friends on both sides of that.
I know, I
and
do
I'm sure
too.
we all do. So
I do too.
yeah.
So
I mean, the building's falling down, but they're trying to piece it back
I know
together.
that.
They're trying to put it back together.
well,
so,
I hope they do. And
I hope they do as
well,
well.
they got. I mean, well,
I-
we could go on and on about that, right?
Right. I want to keep this building here. Whether I stay in it or not, that's a different story. But my office belongs next to the courthouse, near the courthouse. So as long as the courthouse is next door, I belong.
Oh,
next
I
door.
see. So that is
So,
a good thing.
yeah.
The jail that's here.
Yep.
What is that like? Do you hold them out there, or do they stay here now still?
No, well, if the police arrest, they hold them there, and when they're ready to be processed by the court, they bring them downtown. They bring them right to the courthouse. So
Do they stay in here in the jail?
they
the same-
might stay here for an hour or two until transportation, if they're getting shipped off island, until the transportation, the timing is ready for the boat or the plane. Usually they'll sit upstairs. They'll sit upstairs more often but I have cells available if they have to sit here.
I see. Okay.
And when it gets busy upstairs, we're often holding them here. But it's only might be a few hours at the most. You know, like I said before, the repeat offenders usually know they're guilty, and so they don't say much about it. The first timers are the ones who haven't been in very long. They're the ones who act like the experts, and it's kind of odd that mentality. But you know, as far as being in here, they don't complain one way or the other. They know they're only here for a short time.
Aside from drugs, is there another pattern, like any abuse or?
Well, domestic abuse is a big issue here.
Is it rising?
Well, I don't know the numbers of that. I don't see it declining. I mean, I think as people are struggling in different ways, financially, mentally, because of a substance issue or a financial issue, I think it does increase.
And suicide because of the stress levels?
Absolutely. You know, it's the them and the us here. You have to make a lot of money to live here.
Yeah.
People are struggling. A lot of broken homes, you know, single-parent homes, and I think...
And then the housing situation,
Right.
you compound that with too many people in the house.
Exactly.
And that frustrates people.
Yeah. So
We could go on and on, Jim.
we could.
I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much. We'll continue again.